It's the NBN Evening News with Harry Reasonable and Barbara Waters. Good evening and welcome to NBN News Central. I'm Harry Reasonable.
And I'm Walter Concrete. Barbara Waters isn't here tonight. She's been traded to another network for $5 million, a Big Mac, a side order of fries, and a sportscaster to be named later. In the next allotted broadcast cycle, my colleague and I will be bringing you up-to-the-minute reports on all the news and views from around the world. First, on the national front. The U.S. Senate today passed a bill extending the current inoculation program against the dreaded sheep flu, a mutated strain of the swine flu virus which infected the U.S. last year. Symptoms of the flu are an intense itching about the knees and elbows, a general euphoria, 15 minutes of intense laughter, followed by death. Current statistics show that while the flu has claimed only 3 people, the inoculations have killed 3,000. The Department for the Eradication of Abominable Diseases still denies that the vaccine is dangerous. President Carter received his sheep flu inoculation yesterday in a press conference in the Oval Room. Afterwards, when asked how he felt, the president replied, "Why, I never felt better in my life." Gasp. Thud.
The Atomic Energy Commission said yesterday that floods, tornadoes, glaciers, volcanoes, hurricanes, and earthquakes.
In an effort to improve the service given to the public by the U.S. government, President Jimmy Carter today established a host of new government agencies, including the Federal Bureau of Clandestine Subterfuge, the Department of Denials, the National Blimp and Zeppelin Commission, and the Bureau for the Legalization of Gasoline-Operated Turtleneck Sweaters.
Coming up right after this message, Walter Concrete interviews a small brown furry thing. Roger Fudd speaks with Eric Don Vonnegan. Barbara Waters sets herself on fire. The state of Nebraska is held hostage in an Arab terrorist attack, and Roger Brides eats donuts.
Mommy, make it stop! Hi, remember me? I'm Linda Blair. Thank you. You know, parents, we all know that life isn't one big fashion show, and that not everyone owns their own yacht. So why buy your children toys that confuse them? I'm here to endorse a toy that is deeply rooted in modern-day reality. Yes, I'm talking about the Exorcist doll. The Exorcist doll is just packed full of action features. Pull her string and her head twirls around. Squeeze her tummy and she throws up. Flick her switch and her eyes light up. And best of all, the doll comes equipped with her own battery-operated shaking bed. Your children will love the Exorcist doll. And now you can buy little Linda's boyfriend, Damien, the Omen doll. The Omen doll is fully accurate, right down to the 6 3/6 stamped on the back of his head. And best of all, both dolls glow in the dark. So buy both of them. They're oodles of fun.
Linda and Damien are available separately or together in their Graveyard playset. The dolls are made by Rip-Off Toys. Remember, if we make it, it's a rip-off. A division of Millennium Industries. Make us number one.
Yes, all of us here at NBN, the monopolistic broadcasting network, are taking a beating in the Nielsen ratings. So next week, we're bringing you the all-new third season replacements. What do you get when you combine the fabulous 50s with the McCarthy hearings and stir in a touch of hilarious slapstick comedy? You get America's newest, funniest situation comedy, Me and My Shadow. It's the story of Fred Rigby. He's an FBI agent who's assigned to trail a suspected communist sympathizer. But while he's following him, Fred discovers that the communist agent is really his own long-lost twin brother. And then the fun really begins. Yes, it's an hour of hilarious mix-ups, giggling confusion, and rollicking FBI antics every Tuesday at 9, 8:30 Central Time, right here on NBN. And right after that, we bring you an old favorite in a new time. It's Milhouse's Men. This week, Milhouse's Men try to break into Dan's psychiatrist's filing cabinet, but Jeb forgot the dynamite. It's a half hour of presidential pandemonium that's sure to keep you awake. Taped live in Washington, you'll love the comical candidates of Milhouse's Men. And then we bring you America's favorite big money game show, Greed, with your host, Monty Corridor. You'll get to see people dressed up like vegetables trying to sell their souls for a washer-dryer. That's right, America. We'll do anything to get you to watch us. Tune in any night this week as we grovel, beg, and plead for you to make us number one. Hear that? That's the exciting sound of Odyssey 25, the amazing new radio game. Why spend hundreds of dollars on electronic television games when the Odyssey 25 game costs a fraction of the price? And think of the skill required to win a game of ping pong where you can't see the ball. What fun. Simply place the Odyssey 25 circuit box next to your radio and turn it on. Then lie back and listen. Imagine, no annoying screen to look at, no confusing knobs to turn. What a challenge. Trying to play a game where you have no control over the players at all.
The Odyssey 25 radio game comes equipped with both professional and amateur speeds. On sale at all Greenwall stores and wherever better games are sold. And now, back to the news. Here's a report from our South American correspondent. Huge swarms of living death swept down on the little town of Mi Dios, Mexico yesterday when an estimated 2,000 to 3,000 lethal Mexican killer ducks flew into town, leaving a path of destruction 200 feet wide. The ducks are the result of an accidental crossbreeding which occurred in a Mexican biology lab 2 years ago. The huge swarm of ducks is migrating northward at a rate of 200 miles per year and is expected to reach the U.S. in 1980. An estimated 20,000 to 30,000 people have been killed by the marauding ducks so far. Viewers are instructed to keep a careful watch for the mutant ducks, who have an IQ of 120 and can operate submachine guns. Dateline, Washington. Following the Supreme Court's landmark decision legalizing abortion, the U.S. Congress today approved a bill legalizing all forms of murder, including homicide, suicide, murder, counts 1, 2, and 3, genocide, torture, and war. Senator Robert Jack Ripper, New Hampshire maniac, commented, "We in Congress believe that it is a man's right to murder whoever he wishes." And now over to Roger Fudd, who's interviewing the noted author Eric Don Bonneken.
Good evening, I'm Roger Fudd. My guest tonight on our Bit of Science segment is the well-known author of a series of books which some people have called amazingly astounding and others have called pure garbage. I'm speaking, of course, of Eric Don Bonneken, author of such amazing books as On Parareality as Chariots of the Bozos, Bozos from Outer Space, Gold of the Bozos, and the unforgettable Miracles of the Bozos. Good evening, Mr. Bonneken. May I call you Don?
Certainly.
Don, in brief, what are your theories?
I believe that in ancient times, Earth was visited by a race of bozos from another star. I have visited lands all over the world, and over the case is the same. I have found hundreds of statues, carvings, and photographs, all showing the same bizarre image, the incredible form of the bozo, an alien being so fantastically advanced beyond our present technology that millions of years ago, when man was killing mastodons with crude flint knives, the bozos had the technology to create patent leather shoes. These bozos came to Earth thousands of years ago and radically changed man's destiny.
Can I ask you a question, sir?
Yes.
Where's that music coming from?
Oh, excuse me. I always carry a cassette recorder to back up my lectures.
You believe that the bozos are returning, do you not?
Yes, I believe that the huge silver flying discs we have been seeing, flying saucers if you will, are the bozos returning to claim our planet. Many top government officials are gradually being replaced by bozos.
Is there any way to discern these bozos from human beings?
These bozos are virtually identical to human beings except for a few small differences. Only the trained eye of an expert can tell a bozo from a human because the differences are so minute.
What are those differences?
Bozos have pale complexions, bulbous red noses, upswept orange hair, and inflatable feet.
Well, I see our time's running out. Do you have a closing statement, Mr. Bonneken?
Yes, I'd like to speak to the viewing audience. Remember, bit by bit, our government is being replaced by bozos. So next time you see your senator, or congressman, or president in person, or on TV, or on the radio, ask yourself, is this man a bozo?
Thank you, Don. Next week on this segment of BS, trumpet reads, Boone or Bane? Back to you, Walter.
MBN's Laugh-A-Minute News Team will return with an update on NASA's Viking 4 spacecraft right after these words from our sponsor.
Nelson Limerick, you've been arranging the Ella Fitzpatrick sound for many years now.
Yes, that's right.
We recorded Ella on this Blender X recording tape. In a moment, you will hear the sound of Ella Fitzpatrick shattering a 6-story building with her voice. Now, can you tell us, is it live or is it Blender X? I can't tell. It's Blender X! Blender X recording tapes, treated with sodium chloride. Remember, is it live? Or is it Blender X?
Hi, parents. You know, your children are smarter than you think. When they play board games, they want real excitement. So buy them a game they can really enjoy. The Armageddon game. The Armageddon game combines all the fun of nuclear annihilation with the pure excitement of planning second strike bomb capabilities. You move your styrofoam bomb shelters around the game board as dictated by the overkill spinner until you land on the first fail-safe square. From there on in, you stockpile atomic arms, plan missile silo sites, deploy your Secretary of State on bargaining tours, and gradually build a massive military-industrial complex. As the game progresses, you get to dominate minor countries, issue propaganda, and plan where you will detonate the 10 thermonuclear devices you've hidden somewhere in your opponent's country. Just before the end of the game, you get to tabulate projected mutation rates for your side, because it's not just hitting that switch first that determines the winner. You've got to take into account afterwards which side, if any, bears the closest resemblance to human beings. But then it all pays off if you're the first one to hit that big button. The
Armageddon game comes equipped with 10 styrofoam bomb shelters and 400 cardboard implements of destruction. The Armageddon game from Millennium Industries.
Hi, I'm Johnny Cameron Swayze Jr. We strapped a Bindex Maxatronic watch to the rotating blade of a Bulwark 1200cc chainsaw and gave it to the stiff-headed Canadian lumberjack. We then turned him loose on a national forest. An hour later, we retrieved the watch, and it's still ticking, which is strange, considering this watch runs on a tuning fork. Still, remember, more people buy Bindex than any other watch in the world.
Hi, mind if I get personal with you for a minute? You know, even if you shower 7 times an hour, you still can't wash away the plague.
This has been a public service announcement on behalf of the Department for the Eradication of Abominable Diseases.
Now back to the news desk. Mr. R.W. Quisling of Great Falls, Michigan, met a tragic death last night. He was sleeping soundly when the heating element in his waterbed short-circuited and Mr. Quisling was poached to death. That's a good one.
I like that. Yeah. This flash announcement was just handed to me, Harry. I think that this is going to split worldwide political thinking wide open. President ad nauseum Jimmy Carter today said...
We interrupt your current programming for a test of the Emergency Broadcasting Council. This is only a test. Question 1. Why does a chicken cross the road? Question 2. Why does a fireman wear red suspenders? This was only a test. Had this been the real thing, you would have been given the punchlines to those last 2 gags. Your local broadcasters, in cooperation with the Monopolistic Broadcasting Network and the National Humor Council, have developed this test to compare the effectiveness of the rest of the gags in this broadcast. We now return you to your regularly scheduled program.
Came running out on the White House lawn, waving a chicken over his head. Afterwards, the president apologized and promised to switch to a cheaper brand of toothpaste and use the surplus to pay off the national debt.
Well, I don't know about you, Walter, but I find that last story kind of hard to believe.
Why, Harry?
Well, in the first place, I don't think President Carter likes goulash. And in the second place, I just don't think Secret Service agents are licensed to carry cans of silly string.
And now over to our Films in Perspective segment. This week, Roger Brides reviews Simon Neill's new movie, Who Stole My Shoes?
Once in a lifetime, a film comes along which radically changes the way America looks at drama. An incredible film so intensely interesting, so grossly intriguing, so jam-packed with talented stars that it makes a lasting, permanent impression on the history of film. Well, this isn't it. This movie is so lackluster that even the cast fell asleep. The film's major fault lies in its amazingly bad special effects. In the second half of the movie, a chair is supposed to move mysteriously back by itself. This effect was somewhat revealed by the fact that each member of the cast tripped over the hidden wire at least 3 times. All in all, this movie made no impression on the history of film at all, and by next week, no one will remember it. Till last time, I'm Roger Brides.
We now go over to NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California. Reporting is Roger Fudd. Come in, Roger.
NASA's Viking 4 spacecraft touched down on the surface of Mars yesterday and began sending back what appeared to be some very astounding pictures. The first photos seemed to show what appeared to be the complete unedited text of William Shakespeare's Hamlet carved into a 200-foot-tall red cliff, followed by the words, "Earthlings, welcome to the planet Mars." However, as the MBN news team was told by the U.S. Air Force security agent who confiscated the pictures, the classic play carved into the cliff was nothing more than the product of natural weathering and erosion. The security agent did not, however, explain the huge silver flying discs shown in the pictures, nor the strange pale creatures with the bulbous red noses, the upswept orange hair, and the inflatable feet. The Viking 4 lander, as you may recall, was a follow-up project to the Viking 3 lander, which last month landed on the surface of Mars and immediately sank into a canal. The MBN news team would like to thank the U.S. Air Force for their cooperation, and in particular the good-natured security agent who even jokingly made threats on our lives, careers, and families should MBN expose this story.
Roger? Roger? Well, we seem to have lost contact with Roger Fudd in Pasadena. We'll be back in a moment after these messages.
Coming up, a major earthquake on the West Coast, and California secedes from the Union and declares itself an island. Make us number 1.
We know what you want. You want a variety show that's now, that's today, that's in tune with today's thinking. Tune in Mondays at 8, 7:30 Central Time, when we bring you the ultimate variety hour.
Live from the Bermuda Triangle, it's the Patty Hearst Show. Patty's not here tonight. Somebody snatched her again. Sitting in for Patty tonight is Amelia Earhart, and me, I'm Jimmy Hoffa.
And right after that, on Mondays, we bring you a brand new situation comedy, Holmes and Bozo, the uproariously funny annex of a clumsy New York cop and his partner who Holmes doesn't know is an alien from outer space. Yes, it's extraterrestrial excitement every Monday at 9 with Holmes and Bozo. So come on, America.
Make us number 1.
Aye, lad, I've sailed the 7 seas. 30 years before the mast. And all that time I've been looking for one important thing.
Great white whale, Captain.
Shut up and let me finish. I'll tell you what I've been looking for. I've been looking for a really fine seafood shop. Come inside, you scoundrel. That's why I formed a restaurant chain. Here at any of the Captain Ahab seafood shops, we serve you real simulated whitefish patties fried in the purest artificial butter-flavored corn oil. And every meal comes with a side order of French fried potato-like material. And what a decor. Every one of the 45,000 Captain Ahabs across the country is decorated like a real 18th century prison ship.
You serve crabs in here?
We serve anybody, ladies. Sit down. Captain Ahab seafood shops. Because you'll eat anything.
Conquistador, the car for the man who can afford it. I know my own needs, and I need a car with the complete luxury of the Conquistador. Imagine the beautiful opulence of a car with headlights at no extra cost, and the sheer beauty of its interior, with seats upholstered in beautiful see-through polyvinyl or rich Armenian moleskin. And now, for a limited time, when you buy this magnificent automobile, you can get the trunk at no extra charge. Remember, the Conquistador took the Aztec Empire, and now we're going to take you.
With the bar of Irish spring in your hand, it's like taking a shower in Ireland. Well, Harry, I see that our broadcast cycle is about up. And that means we'd better do the credits. The NBN Evening News was written and coordinated by Andy Bartmus, incorporating humorous material created by Jack McKee and Jeff Albrecht. All voices provided by Jack McKee,
Jeff Albrecht, Joe Hornbaker.
and Andy Bartmus. Production equipment was provided by the Turpin High School. The NBN Evening News has received the FCC,
The Federal Comedy Commission.
Seal of Good Practice. This program is recorded in NBN's Cincinnati studios. The preceding program is a taped leisure service of Sound of Everything Productions. Funds for this program were provided by the Amelia Earhart Memorial Broadcasting Fund. Well, that about wraps up tonight's report, Harry. This last late news flash. World ends. Details at 10. Till then, this is Harry Reasonable in Washington, Walter Concrete in New York,
And Roger Fudd back from the dead.
saying if it's news to you, it's news to us. Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Can I get a word from the show?
Someone took away my paper.
I need this
my paper.
Who wrote this story? Who wrote the Irish String?
Bartmus, it's all your fault. I don't know what's
That's good. Somebody turn that down.